One of the most hardest things I feel is to watch someone go through something that is so toxic. Someone that you love, someone that you care about, and you can see the signs. I think it's one of the most hardest things to watch someone be abused. Not only perhaps maybe you have gone through it, and perhaps maybe you're seeing someone else that you care about, there's also triggers that remain. So in this video, I really want to unpack how to get someone to understand that they are in a narcissistic or a toxic relationship, what you can do to help this person. Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope that you're all doing really well. And thank you so much for tuning into this video. I know that this is going to be a heartfelt video because getting someone to understand that they're in a narcissistic relationship, is one of the hardest things to watch someone go through the abuse. But also, I feel that for you to recognize that someone is going through this, that it's not right, that's another level of trauma as well. That's another level of hurt. So I know that you watching this, wanting to help that person, are going to be going through this as well. And also I'm going to talk about how important it is, and there's certain things that you will need to kind of highlight because it's very hard. Actually, I am going to put this kind of warning in because it's very hard to try and convince or get someone to see that they're in something toxic, because when you've got those of you who have been in this dynamic, who have seen this, experienced this, when you know that when you are in this type of relationship, friendship, dynamic, maybe at work, when you're really embroiled in that trauma and when you're really connected to that person, because that's what a narcissist will do. They'll make sure that you're interconnected with them, you're kind of like intertwined with them, with the way that they think, the way that they behave. It's really hard to then see it in a different way because you are brainwashed into thinking a certain way. You are manipulated into thinking a certain way. So when you're manipulated, when you're brainwashed and thinking a certain way, it's really hard to unsee because you're traumatized. Your mind is stuck. And this is done especially so that you don't leave, so that you stay, because you're quite valuable, because you're providing supply, you're providing validation to a narcissist. And that's how they bind you into this type of dynamic, which makes it very difficult to get out of it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it makes it challenging for someone else to see it when they're not ready to see it. You got to think like, look, however much time it has been, would you have been watching, for example, my videos a month ago, 6 months, a year ago, 2 years ago? And if I came up to you in the street and I said, hey, do you know what? You're in a really abusive, toxic relationship. Would you have laughed at me in the street and told me to go away? Maybe something a little bit stronger. Or would you have sat there and shook my hand and go, thanks so much for telling me that? Like, I didn't know that. A lot of you wouldn't have even known what a narcissistic or toxic relationship is. Unless you go through this experience, you're not going to know what it is. So you've got to understand that this person that you're wanting to help is at that level, is at that mindset. They're not understanding or they're not seeing it right now because they're so enthralled in that abuse, in that mindset, in that way of thinking, that they're not necessarily going to see it as abusive. And also another aspect to this is, when you understand that you're in something that is abusive, do you know how hurtful it is to, actually, of course you know how hurtful it is. You do know how hurtful it is to have that discovery. And it is painful. It also could be quite embarrassing and quite shameful that you don't want to admit that to yourself, because then you know that you've got to do something about it. And that's a whole nother level. Also, that person may not want to be alone. And being alone is another level of something that someone doesn't want to be. There's lots of people out there who don't want to be single. They see it as a hindrance. They see it as something that is challenging. Look, I get it. We all want to be with someone. We are sociable creatures. We crave companionship, not isolation. So yeah, sure, we want to be with someone, but when it's with the wrong person, things can become very challenging. And that's where it is an issue. There's so many levels to this. And then there's the other aspect of actually going into therapy. And therapy is expensive and it's long. If you don't have the money to invest in that, then it can be really challenging to be able to get out of something. So those are the things that you kind of need to consider before going on this journey with this person, because you'll be going on this journey. It is a journey. And I know your intention of wanting to help that person, of wanting to let them know. Of course you do. But these are the things that you need to consider. It's hard, it's challenging. But nevertheless, this is what we're going to talk about in the video. But just quickly, really quickly, just to let you know that I do go live on this channel every single Tuesday. And if you've got any questions or there's something that's on your mind and perhaps maybe you want to jump on and maybe ask the question, I'd say come on over to the live, because it is a lot of fun. I will be answering your questions. The lives, the healing doesn't have to be boring. It never is. It really is quite fun. But anyway, I'd love to see you there. Come on over. Okay, so with that, all that being said, all of that being into consideration, I think the first thing that you need to understand, or the way that you can help them, is you need to provide clear examples of narcissistic behaviors. This isn't about convincing them, all right, trying to say, yeah, you're in that relationship, you're in a narcissistic, toxic relationship. It's not about that. What you have to remember is you've got to provide examples. For example, did you know that this is an example of narcissistic behavior? You've got to kind of allow them to get to their own conclusion, to get to their own views of seeing this. Because if you are giving them statements and you are trying to convince them, then again, this is another form of manipulation. They're going to see this as another form of manipulation. Remember, they're used to this. They're used to being told what to do, told what to think, told how to feel. And if you're there doing that again, that is going to trigger them. And they're more likely to shut down emotionally, psychologically, and not actually listen to what you are trying to say. I know that what you're trying to do is do the best that you can for them and trying to help them. But remember, it's about how this information is perceived. So if you're trying to convince them that they're in something toxic, you have to do it in a specific way. And so providing clear examples of narcissistic behavior is going to be the way forward. You have to allow them to make up their own mind and come to their own conclusions. The other aspect of this is you've got to ask open-ended questions. So again, it's open to interpretation. Again, you're not telling them what to think. You're not giving them statements of what they are meant to think. It's more about getting them to see the bigger picture, to see actually maybe it is this, or that something can be open to interpretation, or providing a different perspective. Also, if this person is open to understanding this a lot more, you can give them resources like websites, blogs, books, so they can build on their own understanding. You could be the one that sparks this kind of research into something more. And it's when they do their own research, when they gather their own information, that it will mean a lot more, rather than you just providing them the answers and again statements that you want them to believe. But they're going to find this out on their own. So they're going to come to their own conclusion. The other aspect of this is about providing or highlighting patterns in behavior and not isolated instances. So again, if you're giving them the resources, if you're being able to ask open-ended questions, then it's like the point that I made earlier. You know, you're not highlighting that this is because this person does this, that means they're bad. You're not attacking the narcissist, although I know you'd love to, but you're not just focusing on them. You're giving them examples of things that maybe someone who is narcissistic or toxic would do. Again, you're allowing them to come to their own conclusions. You're highlighting patterns of behavior. So this person then understands that, oh yeah, like if this person does this, then this is going to happen. If this person does this, then that is going to happen. It's about highlighting aspects, okay, not attacking them, not giving specific examples on that person. It's about giving them the whole entire picture. The other aspect is discussing healthy relationship traits. So it's about providing examples of what a healthy relationship should look like. Maybe you might want to even highlight certain relationships that you have, or someone that you know. So it's about being able to open their eyes to a different perspective. Ultimately, it's about reminding them of what really a healthy, happy relationship looks like. It's not about you being sad all the time, being told what to do, being told what to think. That isn't what a happy, healthy relationship is like or is about. But it's about providing those examples so that person can come again to their own conclusions, their own way of thinking about this. Also encouraging self-reflection. So this helps this person to be able to understand themselves, to reflect on their own feelings, anxiety, confusion, or their own dismissed self-worth. They need to be able to come to their own realization. It's like what I gave you that example earlier, right at the beginning of this video, is the fact that, if I'd come up to you in the street, would you have taken that advice on? No, but perhaps maybe it would have planted seeds, and that's what you're doing. You're planting seeds to get that person to see this in a different way, in another way, and not judging, not saying, because you can cause that person to think that they're under attack. Again, it will be a trigger and they'll shut down and they're not going to hear or see what you are trying to do. So it's really important for you to be able to encourage self-reflection for that person and think about it. It really helps for you to process emotions. And actually, when you come to that realization, you are then stronger and better able to leave such a dynamic. Sometimes in a bid to understand, they may rationalize or excuse a narcissist's behavior. And I know this can be really frustrating. I know that this can really grind on you. But don't look at this with judgment, because that person, okay, they don't understand it fully. And they love this person, they care about this person, so they're going to protect them. And it's not because they're going against you or you're failing in your attempts to be able, this person to be able to see it. It's just that sometimes a narcissistic relationship can be really overwhelming. And they're going to tell you, no, things are not like this. But that is their own denial. Remember, it's an ego process. Again, it's protection. It's about protecting the narcissist, protecting the relationship, but also protecting their own integrity. It's really hard or challenging when someone tells you that you're doing something wrong. So rationalizing, excusing the narcissist, this is going to take time for that person to see. You can gently challenge their justifications. I mean, I'm not going into a full-blown argument, but just challenge it. Maybe they could see it from a different point of view. That is what is important. And the other aspect is encouraging professional guidance. So if this person is ready for it, then therapy might be a way forward for this person. But I did a video all about this, how long therapy takes. This might really help as well alongside this video. So there's a few things that you need to consider, and it's about, if that person is ready, then they're ready to embark on this journey. It's going to take time, my friends. It's going to take time, and it will be challenging, but it is so worth it. It's so worth embarking on this journey. And ultimately, the key here is all about patience and understanding, isn't it? It's about being patient with that person. Just because at this point now they're not getting it and they are challenging you and they're going against you, what you're doing is you're planting seeds. And that is what is important. You are planting seeds so that this person can see, so that this person can understand. So please know that you are doing the right thing. So look, take your time with this. Don't rush it. Don't be intense. I know you got this, and hopefully in time this person will see it. If this video has helped, please do give it a thumbs up, or if you've liked it, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do consider subscribing for more content like this. And please share the video if you feel that there is someone who could benefit from this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video or the next live. Goodbye.